So the third title is simply just titled Big Brother 2. And as everyone knows, this is definitely one of my favorite seasons as there are so many intricacies, complexities, rawness, and layers in the season that on the surface has a very simplistic format, but you really got to know the cast, you really got to see the dynamics, and you got to see the strategy evolve, and you really got to see how the meta elements of the game and the societal standards of the early 2000s really started affecting everyone. So it's interesting that this has its own title, and we're just going to get right to it. So the quote that I'm going to read is from Alison Guarner, as we all know is the executive producer of the show. So it states, when Arnold and I took over, we wanted to maintain the unique, voyeuristic elements of the original, but bring in formatted devices to increase the pace along with bringing more tension, drama, and comedy to the series. So that's Alison Gardner's quote, and as we know, she's been a producer from Big Brother 2 to current, though she is very controversial. Now on to the book. John de Mol believed Big Brother could succeed anywhere, but the Dutch format failed to meet CBS's expectations. This was emphasized by Survivor's massive success, with over 50 million Americans tuning in to watch Richard Hatch's historic win. The second season of Big Brother will undergo major changes before it hits TV screens, but the network first needs to find a production partner to fill the vacancy left by Douglas Ross and Evolution Media. Two companies make the shortlist. Mary Ellis Bonham and Jonathan Moray are the creative force behind MTV's The Real World. Their company, Bonham Moray, is well-oiled and experienced in creating titillating and youthful reality content. The Real World follows a group of cohabitating young people, so the duo are natural contenders to reshape Big Brother. It is interesting that this company was in line to produce this show, since as we all know with the current merger that happened with Paramount, I believe, Big Brother has ties to MTV and vice versa, where a lot of the more recent seasons over the last decade has went over to MTV to work with them to be on the challenge. So it would have been interesting to see how that production company would have handled Big Brother had it been given the green light in the second season. So the other company being considered is Arnold Shapiro Productions, whose namesake is a showbiz veteran. When 60-year-old Shapiro is approached about Big Brother, he has already amassed 16 Emmys and an Oscar. I didn't realize he was that old at the time, and I guess it makes sense why he retired so early on in the show's history. There are benefits to choosing each, but the network's decision will come down to one factor. Big Brother is a round-the-clock production that demands split-second decision-making. CBS needs someone who can make those decisions quickly and effectively. So, Gan Maynard put a question to the contenders. At 3 o'clock a.m., if something is going on in the house, which one of you is going to be there? At any given time, Bun and Murray could be working on 4 to 5 shows. They indicate that neither of them will be involved in day-to-day operations. Like many top production companies, they will employ a showrunner, an employee with overall management and creative authority. This is insufficient. The network wants the head of the company it selects to be intimately involved with the series, particularly after a somewhat rocky first season. Arnold Shapiro, at a later stage in his career, has his fingers in fewer pies than Bottom and Murray. So it's interesting that they chose him because he is older and he's later on in his career. So it's kind of a catch-22 with that situation, where he is more involved in the early seasons, but he's obviously going to retire a lot earlier. And it shows that the decisions that has been made on the real world and the challenge, and with neither Bottom nor Murray being involved in the day-to-day productions, a lot of things are kind of left in limbo, and a lot of problematic things are excused or let slide, which is why a lot of reality TV stars complain about the production company and MTV as a challenge being some of the worst productions. So Arnold commits to showing up on the set 100% of the time. He also brings something that Maynard feels the show needs: class. The press liked him and they hated Big Brother, he recalls. I thought if I get someone who's respected, who has a good relationship with the press, maybe they'll get off our backs and give us a second try. Arnold Shapiro Productions is hinted as Big Brother's new production company in the February 20th, 2001 edition of the New York Times. Shapiro has silver hair and a mustache, often wearing a buttoned-up shirt tucked into a pair of jeans. His bright smile radiates optimism. Shapiro's association with CBS dates back to the early 60s when he sells his first show to the network. It's a student game show, Scholar Quiz, which airs on KCBS TV, a local affiliate in Los Angeles. His big break comes years later upon the release of Scared Straight, a documentary film in which at-risk youth are confronted by the harsh realities of the American prison system and forced to engage in with real-life convicts. It wins the 1978 Academy Award for Best Documentary, presented to Shapiro by a young Maya Farrow. Over the course of his 50-year career, he works under four CBS presidents, from James Aubrey to Leslie Moonves. This enduring relationship is another reason for hiring him to reshape Big Brother. CBS has not to worry about him bending to Endemol's growing Hollywood influence. Shapiro's body of work predominantly includes nonfiction that confronts complex social issues and historical events. Take it, for instance, his 1988 special on the Korean War or his 1992 expose on child abuse. Big Brother is a major departure from this kind of work. Nevertheless, he's excited about the opportunity to be in business with CBS again. I wanted the challenge of taking a show that was in trouble and seeing if we could make it a hit. Shapiro recounts, if we failed, it wouldn't look too bad because the show had already sort of failed creatively, and if we didn't fail, we would be heroes. It's a win-win situation. Shapiro looks forward to the show's live components too, as he hadn't done live TV in many years. A rising star at Arnold Shapiro Productions is Alison Garner, a young, round-faced woman with long and curly reddish blonde hair. She first met Shapiro in the summer of 1987 when she's hired as an intern for How to Stop the One You Love from Drinking and Using Drugs, a TV special in which she has a small acting role. Growing up in San Diego, Gardner was the theater kid who envisioned herself someday having an on-screen career. I didn't know that, but I do think it kind of explains some of how she handles things in the press and her reputation. But Gardner's ambitions are reoriented by the 1988 writer's strike in full swing as she graduates from UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television. Finding herself in a precarious position as many of her peers struggle to find work, she leaned on her prior internship with Shapiro. No one I had worked for over my college careers was working except for on Shapiro. She recalls. He extends a helping hand by hiring her as an assistant on another documentary project. That project is the pilot for Rescue 911, a series hosted by William Shatner, which features real and reenacted emergency situations. Shapiro, impressed by Gardner's work ethic and ambition, promotes her from assistant to researcher and eventually to field and segment producer. After seven successful seasons on CBS, Rescue 911 concludes in 1996, but Shapiro and Garner's working relationship continues. The following year, they won three Emmy Awards for The Teen Files, a series of socially conscious youth specials tackling pressing issues amongst high school students such as drug use, violence, body issues, and mental health. When Shapiro is approached about possibly taking over Big Brother, he first pitches the idea to Gardner. She too is up for the challenge. Together, they meet with Les Moonves with a slate of proposed format amendments. Arnold is someone who I knew very well. I liked Arnold. He was hardworking and very diligent, says Moonves. Allison I hardly knew, but upon meeting her, I realized how terrific and competent she was. It was a good move to hire them. I'm proud of that. Moonves gives Shapiro the green light to reboot the series, but there are some caveats. The host, Julie Chen, title, Big Brother, and basic format, strangers sequestered in a house, to 24/7 surveillance, to periodic removal of contestants, to grand prize winner, must remain unchanged. Within these loose constraints, and answerable only to CBS, Shapiro and Garner have free reign on set designs, challenge development, story, editing, casting, weekly episode counts, and how the game is played. The pair also met with John DeMol. This is a courtesy visit to assuage any reservation he has about his pet format undergoing its first major mutation. Shapiro maintains an open line of communication with Endemol, keeping them abreast of the series' direction. And it's good that this happened since I know Endemol still owns the content of Big Brother US, and to have that mutual relationship, even though they're not heavily involved in it, or at least in the creative element overall, shows a lot of graciousness and gratitude. One of the biggest sources of tension during Big Brother 1 was casting. Shapiro and Garner resolved to fix this by bringing aboard Jackie Pittman, Hollywood's TV mentor. She's worked on Love Connection, Studs, and Sex Wars before getting the call for Big Brother 2. More than 10,000 applicants flood Pittman's desk. The candidate profiles she seeks are radically different than the Dutch choices from last summer. If they said, I just want to make friends and have a good time, we threw away the tape, casting associate Jerry Auction recounts. We wanted 10 incendiary, iconoclast people willing to go, that were willing to cause conflict. After a nationwide search, Jackie presents the top contenders to Shapiro and Garner, who spent an entire day choosing several dozen semifinalists. Those semifinalists are then flown to Los Angeles for intensive interviews, physical and psychological screenings. From this group, a small portion is chosen and presented to Les Moonves, who has the ultimate authority on the finalists. He plays a significant role in the casting process for the early seasons of both Big Brother and Survivor. I guess that isn't shocking to hear that, but I didn't really know that he was so involved in the early seasons. And it's interesting how they also mentioned that they wanted people to cause conflict, but I feel like that decreased, especially within the last decade. But we'll get there when we get there. Finalists anxiously wait in a boardroom, each summoned one by one into Moonfist's office for questioning. Hardly a muscular Miami bouncer. Oh, sorry. Hardy, a muscular Miami bouncer, is asked if he intends to pursue romantic connections with any of the women in the house, to which the handsome bachelor confirms that he does. This is very interesting because he had a girlfriend while the season was filming, though you could definitely tell with his interactions and allegiance with Nicole, there's a lot of flirting between the both of them, and there's a lot of chemistry between them, despite her being married and him being in a relationship. But if you notice on the edits, they heavily downplayed his relationship. Moonves probes further, questioning his competitiveness, to which Hardy says that he will do whatever it takes to win. And it's interesting that Hardy said this in his casting tape, where his whole arc on the show, especially for his first half of the show, is him claiming that he wants to help other people win and how he's not here to win and he wants the good people to win. So you see him making cutthroat deals, you see him overtly strategizing with everyone in the house. And you see him really putting himself and his allies first and really positioning himself to the point where became the villain of the season and he became hated. Though this also gives credence to what he said on Terran's podcast show, I believe in 2018, where he said that he knew he was lying in the beginning and he always came to play for himself. So it's just a little nice time then. Moonves is accelerated by the cast assembled by Pitnet, each one of them. Season 2 will feature a striking 43-year-old single mother. I believe that is Cheryl. A smarmy young doctor, as we all know, that's Dr. Well. A gay man with excessive body hair, as we all know, is Bunky. An outspoken Reagan Republican, who I believe is Kent. And 8 other highly energetic and vibrant personalities. The only change Movies makes is transferring Clarence Black from Big Brother to Survivor Africa. Wait. Hold on. So Clarence from Big, sorry. Why am I saying Clarence from Survivor Africa was supposed to be on Big Brother? I feel like this has never been mentioned anywhere. And it kind of makes sense, though, as we all know, Clarence Black had a very poor run on Survivor Africa due to a lot of undercover racism. And I feel like he would have thrived more if he was on Big Brother instead of Survivor. Shapiro and Garner began a thorough review of Big Brother 1 to pinpoint areas for improvement. With a fresh creative team in place, they analyzed every aspect of what worked and what didn't. One of the earliest decisions is to eliminate the public's ability to banish contestants. Brilliant choice! This reduces the risk of compelling personalities leaving too early. Instead, house guests will vote to evict one another. This requires the creation of the format device for weekly eliminations, so Garner and her colleague, Amy Bailey, devised the head of household (HOH) concept. The HOH is a weekly competition among the contestants for safety. It comes with the duty to nominate 2 others for eviction. It includes the perks of a private bedroom, a letter from home, and a basket of choice goodies. This remains one of the most important format elements of Big Brother to this day, says Garner. It ensures a shift in power structure in the house week to week, which guarantees conflict and great story. Big Brother 2 debuted on July 5, 2001. House guests enter from both sides of the stage, silently gathering center stage in front of an elegant facade of large French double doors and frosted window panes. They are surrounded by abundant greenery and a flagstone walkway that leads from the front door into a small studio in which host Julie Chen presides. She communicates with the 12 contestants through an intercom, ensuring that they don't meet her until they've either won the game or been evicted. Take a good look at the faces around you. These are the people with whom you will spend every waking and sleeping hour. Study them carefully. The people you're standing next to may become your friends, but ultimately they are your competitors. It's you against them in the summer long power struggle for $500,000. During Big Brother 1, Hoskins came close to walking off the show mid-season. This is orchestrated by Miss Western father of three, Chicken George, who attempts to convince everyone that it would send a positive message to the American public about unity. And despite this and creating this huge production issue, they decided to bring him back for Big Brother 7, which is honestly just ridiculous, and we didn't need anyone from Big Brother 1. But that's besides the point. This causes a genuine panic behind the scenes. Producers rushed to film an alternate introduction with an entirely new cast. Judy Chen's words to the cast this summer leave no ambiguity about the reformed show's purpose. All contestants were there to compete, and they were cast to compete. Julie's new anchor getup is stitched for a sexier look. She's sporting a tight, sleeveless, silky purple jumpsuit. The live audience is treated for an empty studio and a teleprompter, though, as we all know, they would change that in Big Brother 10, I believe, if I remember correctly. She's also moved closer to the house. Last season, the live studio was a distance away, so the house guests were rushed to a location during a commercial break, and we all know this is what they did during Big Brother Canada. The tension that was lacking in Big Brother 1 is redeemed in the first episode of Big Brother 2. The 12 house guests are tasked with filling bags of groceries and themselves into a brand new 2002 Buick Rendezvous for 60 seconds to win food for the week. But there's a catch. The last person remains in the vehicle wins it. Almost immediately, it's down to Kent, who wants that car for his wife, and Autumn, a single mother who's currently carless. I don't have a husband to help me, she squeals to Kent, who shows no mercy. Following this luxury food challenge, the HOH competition kicks off with the Wheel of First Impressions, and I really wish they did this competition in more modern seasons. So I guess they might be able to rig it, but it shows a lot more about the social dynamics, especially during the first few days. House guests spin a roulette-style wheel with 18 colored wedges, each bearing an adjective ranging from prettiest and kindest to loudest and bitchiest. Kent, the winner of the car challenge, goes first. He selects Will, the young Miami doctor, for smartest, and Cheryl, the age-appropriate mother, for sexiest. Next, the rest of the Huskies proceed to vote between Will and Cheryl to determine who they want to remain in the competition. Cheryl emerges victorious in the first vote, rendering Will ineligible to continue. She then takes her turn spinning the wheel, and the cycle repeats for several rounds until only Mike Bucky becomes the first ever H2H. Bucky stands out with his bright blue eyes and frosted tips, often wearing oversized basketball shorts and sports jerseys. His nightclub, Les Deux, will become a hotspot for Hollywood's early aughts it crowd, playing host to Kim Kardashian's 27th birthday and Donald Trump's 2007 vodka launch party. And we know this because he talked about it all the time on the feeds of Big Brother 7. This event is where Donald Trump, then married to Melania, invites adult film star Stormy Daniels as his plus one, later paying her off before the 2016 presidential election to keep quiet about the affair. The first HOH challenge is indicative of Big Brother's new direction. The measure of a successful competition becomes its ability to generate lasting content. Big Brother wants team-oriented challenges, assembling dominoes, square dancing, or riding 1,000 miles on a stationary bike produced minimal conflict. Once the challenge was over, it was all but forgotten by the housemates. However, dubbing one of your housemates a bitch is guaranteed to elicit fallout far beyond the challenge that can then be used to shape televised content. The second episode features the nomination ceremony, where the HOH must nominate two Huskies for eviction. Bucky sets his sights on Nicole, a newlywed from Atlanta, whom he finds loud and abrasive. A montage plays on Nicole's complaints, and it definitely did, ranging from her refusal to use the house jacuzzi due to a past scabies experience at a community pool, to her dissatisfaction with the qualities of cookware in the Big Brother kitchen. Bucky approaches the memory wall to contemplate his nominations. The memory wall is adorned with portraits of each house guest, and beneath each portrait hangs a large golden key, representing a house guest's life in the game. Though it didn't go black and white in the season like it did in every succeeding season. This concept, conceived by producer Joan O'Connor, leads to the creation of a circular key wheel. I wanted to have Estee Lauder green, she reclaims. It was a monster, though. It was very heavy, which we really didn't think about when the art department was building it. Buggy, deep in thought, returns to his private bedroom and begins inserting his housemate's keys into the wheel. He then carries it to the dining table, where everyone is gathered, and initiates the ceremony by drawing out the first key. Each subsequent house guest then draws the next, heightening the pressure until only two individuals remain without keys around their necks. In the next episode, airing on Tuesday, focus shifts to the house guests' interpersonal dynamics. John Kroll, fresh off a project with George Lucas, is hired to lead the show. Initially considered for a story editor role, Kroll leverages his recent work with the Star Wars creator and negotiates his way into a more senior position. Kroll phones his friend John Platt to join his team. Both are filmmakers. Kroll co-wrote and directed Amanda and the Alien, Showtime's most popular original film of 1995, and Platt co-wrote the 1990 cult classic, The Forbidden Dance. Their experience in fiction storytelling ensures the episode, without an H or eviction, will benefit from nuanced character development and compelling narrative arcs. And honestly, I feel like this is kind of a thing that is missing from a lot more of the recent seasons, as a lot of the interpersonal dynamics aren't heavily focused on. In crafting this episode, the duo draw inspiration from filmmaker Robert Altman, whose pictures boast large casts and opposite conventional storytelling methods. Nashville, released in 1975, is shot without a fully realized script. The film's cast was encouraged to improvise its dialogue, and the best conversations were pieced together to create a cohesive and engaging story. Many Altman films, like 1982's The Player and 1993's Short Cuts, stylistically frame shots at a distance and through windows, creating a voyeuristic atmosphere. These techniques, rooted in spontaneity and observational storytelling, lend themselves to Big Brother and, in particular, the Tuesday show. Flashbacks are an editing tactic introduced in Big Brother 2. During pre-production, a rehearsal is conducted with a mock cast. This gives crew an opportunity to become acquainted with the vast mechanisms required to produce the show. During the rehearsal, a mock contestant spits into another drink. Story editors John Platt and Nancy Daniels, alongside video editor Tom Quick, seizes upon this moment to craft a compelling segment. The team incorporates a flashback infused with a distinctive blue and white filter, giving it a unique and modern look. These blue and white flashbacks are a recurring and memorable part of the series for many years. Closing the weekly cycle, the series loops back around to the Thursday live show. This episode architect is Tracy Green. She comes to Big Brother from The Roseanne Show, Roseanne Barr's syndicated talk show, which hosted a studio audience and adhered to stringent time constraints. This makes Green the ideal candidate to command the live broadcast, ensuring the episode is executed flawlessly down to the last detail. We wanted to have a really clear format for the live show, so Julie wasn't just overseeing randomness, explains Platt. This episode features eviction and head of household competition. It features an eviction and a head of household competition, weaved together with pre-taped segments. These segments include insights from contestants, family members, which they sadly don't do anymore, offering a peek into their personal lives. In one instance, a house guest's boyfriend is interviewed, furious that his girlfriend is smitten with the charming Dr. Well, and we all know that this is in reference to Shannon. Big Brother 2 sees weekly episodes reduced from 6 to 3, addressing a major challenge faced during season 1. The tight turnaround. Last summer's crew sometimes scrambled to finish editing the second half of a broadcast while satelliting the first half to viewers. With the new schedule, there's more time for building cohesive episodic arcs and a broader series narrative. Time allowed for editing, and editing allowed the show to add entertainment value, reflects John Crome. That additional time to shape storytelling was so crucial. Kroll realized that Big Brother can never get to the same level of Survivor's aesthetic, which has 16 weeks to edit 1 hour of television. For Kroll, success is achieving 80 to 90% of Survivor's finesse. In addition to flashbacks, Big Brother 2 introduces enhanced editing techniques, including cutaway shots, Frankenbites, music, and improved use of confessionals. The glacial pace that defined the preceding season is scrapped. Scenes are cut together much faster. If you blink, you could miss something. The editing is deliberate and there's an immediate feeling of structure. The diary room, renamed from the Red Room, becomes more integrated into the series. Unlike Big Brother 1, where a voice actor provides the narration of each episode, Big Brother 2 sees a contestant becomes the narrators. For instance, Bunky, a gay man struggling to come out to his castmates. He confides in the diary room, having to hide who I am has really made me a nervous wreck, he says. These private reflections are weaved together with footage of him eventually revealing his secrets to a housemate, showing her a photograph of his husband, and I believe he came out to to Autumn, if I remember correctly, and it was a really nice moment between the two of them. Cutaway shots and Frankenbites are also used to tell compelling stories. Cutaway shots clarify dialogue, ensuring viewers understand the context of the conversation. For example, if a contestant says, she's a bitch, viewers may not know the identity of she. A quick cutaway shot to that individual lets the viewers in on the story. Frankenbite, a clever fusion of Frankenstein and soundbite, are constructed by stitching fragments of dialogue together, like cutaway shots. Their purpose is to enhance clarity. A Frankenbite may be used if a contestant is being long-winded. With Big Brother 2's shortened runtime, every second is precious, making efficient storytelling essential. Frankenbites are often concealed with B-roll footage, so viewers don't catch the manufactured transactions or transitions. Frankenbites are controversial to some as they imply continuity when there really isn't, omitting the nuances of natural human communications. And this is something that we see in damn near every single reality show, where the contestants are always complaining about the edit because they completely misinterpreted the nuances that actually happened in the conversation, or they change the order of the conversation in its naturality compared to what they choose to edit on the show. And it often flips the narratives. Shane Nickerson, the BB1 producer and co-creator of MTV's Ridiculousness, offers insight into the use of editing tactics in reality TV. In the unscripted world, you'll use whatever tools you can, whether it's pulling a soundbite from somewhere else or using a cutaway shot from another day to tell the best story you can in that scene. So that's pretty much the rationale. Nicholson emphasizes the goal isn't to fabricate new meaning, though in many cases that is exactly what happens. Editing plays a crucial role in Big Brother 2 character development. Take, for example, Dr. Wolf, who forms an alliance with housemate Mike Boogie, dubbing themselves Chotan, named after the cold temperature of their shared bedroom. Initially disliked by fans, Will's humor and cavalier attitude towards the show gradually wins them over. He really just embraced everything that's great about reality, says John Kroll. That villains can become heroes, and that everyone loves a good scoundrel, and you can embrace those kinds of characters just like you can embrace Tony Soprano if they're properly framed, written, or in this case produced. Kroll uses music and slow motion to construct an evil doctor persona around Will. It resonates with fans, and Dr. Will becomes an integral part of the franchise, returning year after year to appear on the series. Paul Coyne, one of the first reality editors to be invited into American Cinema Editors, echoes the importance of character development in season 2. You're always looking for those moments of character that show humor or emotion, Quill says, and it all comes from the eyes and head turns. Big Brother 2 is notable for its emphasis on capturing these reaction shots, which enrich the storytelling and deepen the audience's connection to the house guests. Big Brother 2 wraps on September 19th, 2001, and it isn't just Americans tuning in. The Dutch are also paying close attention. Big Brother 2's success will lead to a profound philosophical shift within Endemol. We learned that we should be open to local adaptations of the format as long as you keep the core intact, says Romer. There are many different adaptations of the format around the world nowadays. As of September 2023, there have been 64 broadcasts across 6 continents. According to Martin Radgiver, who now serves as an international formats consultant with Banijay, Endemol's successor, there are 3 distinct Big Brother types. So, there's the classic slash original show, which emphasizes daily life within the house. House guests make internal nominations, and the public decides who gets evicted. This version is popular in Northern Europe, in regions like the United Kingdom, Germany, Netherlands, as well as India. 2. The strategy-based approach, pioneered by Big Brother 2. This is condensed and features less linear storytelling. In addition to America, it's also seen in Canada. And 3. The Latin version, found in countries such as Italy, Spain, Argentina, and Brazil, which prioritizes social dynamics and interpersonal relationships. These iterations often include lengthy live shows, sometimes lasting up to 3 hours. Oh my gosh, that sounds treacherous. Where every aspect of house life is discussed in detail. This adaptation tends to foster a more communal atmosphere, with less emphasis on structured competition. Clearly, Arnold Shapiro and Alison Garner are ecstatic by the outcome of Big Brother 2. They've accomplished exactly what they set out to do. We were the heroes of CBS because of Big Brother 2, recalls Shapiro. Critics never like reality shows, but to the extent that any critic would say anything is possible, they did about this version. According to Forbes, Big Brother 2 earned USD 40 million, up from the 29 million from the summer prior. That's very interesting because when you look at the ratings of Big Brother 1 and Big Brother 2, it really doesn't tell the full story. But with this comment here where it talks about the money made from those two seasons and Big Brother 2 making 10 million more, it shows how much more successful that was compared to Big Brother 1. The duo is invited back to produce a third season. This is just the beginning of a show that will undergo many alterations in the years to come.